Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here with Deniz Youssef. We are from Inspired Growth Training, and today we are going to be talking about an article that we've released, which is 6 expert tips to running a successful property management investor evening. Now, myself, involved in property management, I've done many of these sessions as a trainer, as one of the speakers, also been involved with many investor evenings and actually worked with a rent roll where the whole business, all of the owners came from investor evenings as well. So it is a really good strategy if you can get it right. I know there's too many businesses out there. They either don't do them or they only do them once. But Deniz is one of the very few people around that not only did them regularly, but really made them work to generate quality leads and build the business. So Deniz, so going through the 6 tips, people, you also have this article in writing as well that you can use. Just click on the link, or it should be on the same page that you find the video. Tip 1, Deniz, we've got here, select a date. So why is it really important about the date and perhaps the time as well?
Yeah, well, obviously the timing is really important, Darren, because, you need to give yourself, a minimum 4 weeks, as far as I'm concerned, in, for that marketing, to build some momentum. It's no different to us, having a minimum 3 months of marketing for our conference. I mean, that's like an information night for us. You've got to have that minimum time, for the date. So when selecting a date, my recommendation is a minimum 4 weeks for the commencement of marketing. But you want your business plan put in place at least 8 weeks out, so that you've got 4 weeks to prepare the staff and get any paperwork, marketing materials ready for that as well. So
how often were you doing them per year?
Yeah, we were doing upwards of 4 a year. We did cut it back to 3 a year. You've got Greg Watson in Watson Real Estate in Palmerston North. He's still doing 4 a year. There's some other agencies I'm training, they're only doing 2 a year. And what I find really interesting, Darren, is the question I always ask people, whether I'm speaking at a conference or I'm doing in-office training, I ask, who used to do information night? Who's doing them? Oh, yeah, we used to do it. So are you still doing them? Oh, no, that staff member left.
I see it a bit like officers. They just do letterbox drops once and go, it didn't work. They only do an investor evening just once. You've got to do this regularly, people.
You do. I had 10 people come to our very first information night. 10 people. But you know what's really cool? I listed 4 properties, or it might have been 6. I get confused. 4 or 6 properties. Like, I wanted to do an information night every week.
Well done. All right, let's move to tip 2, selecting a venue. So Deniz, what is the right type of venue that works?
Look, I mean, in my opinion, I'm about taking it away from your office and going into the community. You could do it at a coffee shop. You could do it at a club. Like, we used to do it at the Bomaderry Bowling Club. We did it at the golf club. We did it in a coffee shop in town, because you have your branding. And we always did them on a Thursday night as well, which was really good. Typically everyone's out and about at night time. So, use other facilities. If you've got any partnerships with other businesses, or you're sponsoring clubs, utilize those. I mean, if I was down near the beach, I'd use the Surf Lifesaving Club. I'd use, there's so many different areas you could use it. But where are you going to have public people? When we did it at the Bomaderry Bowling Club, we'd be standing out the front guiding people. Oh, would you like to come in? Grab your meal and come in, because you're local and you know everyone. So I'm all about going into the community. If you have a business shop front, I'm not saying you can't do it there, but you want people as relaxed as they can. So I say take it to them.
Yeah, well done. And myself, we've done it in clubs, we've done it in pubs, in an office training room as well, that we have a big enough room at the office. So yeah, it really depends what's most important to you. Deniz, let's move on and let's talk about tip 3 and selecting outside speakers. Deniz, selecting outside speakers. I know we had a bit of a dropout there, but selecting outside speakers, tip 3.
Yeah, so who are all the people that are raving fans for you? Who are all the people that the BDMs are have got you on front of mind. They're the ones that you have. You know, if you're part of a B&I group or a Chamber of Commerce group or whatever it is, you know, most of the time you've got one mortgage broker, you've got a financial expert speaking at them. You can have an accountant. You can have lawn and garden care person. You can have, you know, so many different people. You want to be speaking, getting people to speak at them that are speaking to landlords or potential investors before they've purchased. There's a whole pile of people at the top that are dealing with mums and dads before they've even spoken to a salesperson. You know, look at that process. If you looked at that timeline of all the things that somebody's got to do before they call an office, they're all the people that you have speaking.
So what sort of cost should we expect with these speakers?
Absolutely zero costs, Darren. I would be getting the speakers to even input some of the cost in running the night. Okay, it's not like we have to pay speakers to come and speak at our conference. You know, for an information night, that accountant, they want your clients. They want to
be able to expose that financial planner, that mortgage broker. They want to be involved. Even what about also sponsors to help pay for the night as well? You know, who could that be?
Oh, spot on. Yeah, absolutely. You know, talk to your pool and safety people about them, you know, wanting to come in and have a 1 minute, 2 minute intro before someone comes in. You'll put their branding. They can have a table. You know, you've got your smoke alarms experts, your electricians. You know,
tax depreciation, landlord insurance. You know, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? And those people are very keen to be involved and promote their services. We've got to move on. So let's talk about tip 4, selecting speakers from your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, don't let the principal of your office, if they're in charge of sales, speak about property management for starters. Okay, so you know what it's like. Anyone out there that whenever the salesperson said, "I've got you a listing," you know, it's always under rented and over rented and undercharged in fees. So, you know, salespeople do a great job of selling properties, but they're not experts in property management. So the BDM or head of department, the one who's out there selling the services, they should be, you know, speaking. Have someone talking about sales, you know, and the future market in real estate in your area. They're really good in-house areas to speak on. And you could also get your leasing agent to talk about the selection process and the marketing process of properties to attract better quality tenants and higher returns.
So let's talk about tip number 5 now. And what should the BDM or the property manager talk about? What's perhaps some good topics that's interesting from that angle?
My favorite one that I spoke on was how to attract the best quality tenant and how do I know how much I'm going to rent your home for? And I just spoke about how we market properties, offering professional photography, videos, and I showed them photos, examples of non-professional and professional, and then I showed them a video. And then I explained the process, the steps in how to do a comparable market analysis. Really simple stuff that a BDM or a property manager does every day. And, you know, if you're speaking about something you're really comfortable about, and, you know, it flows from your heart. I never spoke about legislation because I was really bad at it, right? I spoke about how to market and attract better tenants and lease properties quicker, because all of those potential landlords in there, you need to be selling your points of service differences because they're watching you and you want to get their business.
And for me, the sessions I always did was generally 5 essential keys to getting the management right. So it would be the ABCs of property management. You know, given everyone's usually evening, they're really tired. There's a lot of photos in the presentation. But, you know, what are the 5 essential keys would be tenant selection, tenant sign up, routine inspections, lease renewals, rent arrears, not lease renewals, but adding in vacate. So those are the 5 keys to management we've got to get right. And we just talked on that stuff, showed some, you know, out there photos, you know, and just kept it really, really light. I had a 20-minute version, I had a 40-minute version as well. And that worked really well. Let's just keep on moving on, Dennis, and let's talk about tip number 6, having a promotion for the night. Why is that important?
Well, I mean, obviously you got to get, you know, you want to try and work out who the actual people in the crowd are, the attendees. You want to categorize them. So having a promotion, you know, for example, list your property with, you know, Inspired Growth Realty today and receive free EBM landlord's insurance. Okay, that's going to really catch someone's attention. Have a big sign saying win free management for 12 months. You know, do you think if you're standing at a table with received 12 months free management, that's just an example that potential, investors are going to come over and talk to you? Have a guessing competition, how many lollies in the jar, and then have questions on the competition: name, phone number, email. Would you like to own investment property? Do you own one? Would you like a free market report? Would you, and if you've got sponsors, have the questions around them. Would you like a finance health check, etc.? So you want to categorize, you want to work out who they are and catch the data. It's great having 100 people, 10 people, 20 people in a room, but you want to catch who came. Why? So you can pre-market to them, pick up the phone and call them.
Yep. Okay. So another thing too, everybody, make sure your evaluation form, you get an evaluation form, you ask everyone to fill it in, and down the bottom, have a little tick box. Would you like to talk to us for further information, or would you like us to talk to you about how we can manage your property or upcoming property? And that's a lead generator. Now, before we go, Dennis, we haven't actually covered yet who are the types of people that we can market this whole event to. Now, using an email marketing platform like Aweber or MailChimp, what are the types of people out there that we could be sending our email promotion out to? Who are they?
Well, before I say who they are, let's especially not forget about Facebook, creating an event on Facebook as well. So for myself, every single potential lead that came in, a potential landlord, I would send them an invitation as a part of my pre-listing kit. By the way, we have an accountant, we have this ABC coming, how many seats would you like me to save? Tenants, we invited all of our tenants when we had someone talking about finances on how to get your first home loan. Okay, so that was really important, getting them. And the good thing about getting your tenants, inviting them, their mums and dads come. What are these real estate agents trying to suck my children into? And they come. So obviously invite around the subject, potential landlords, current landlords, old landlords, to show them if they'd left, anyone that had sold a property with you. Business owners is a really good one as well, like those baristas, because they're talking to people and they're influential people in the marketplace as well.
Well done. Dennis, great article. So check out the article in writing. There will be a link on this post, or if this is a video actually on the article page, it's all there. Of course, email us, office@inspiredgrowthtraining.com as well. Go to our website, inspiredgrowthtraining.com. You'll also be able to access Win Your Fees, which is a free download that goes through the top 10 scripts, methods, and techniques, and how to overcome the biggest owner fee objections. Dennis, we are all done. Thanks so much. Some great expertise there. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.